I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm desperate to see Nigeria that works for the youths. We have so much talent and energy here that can change the world. And I want to do that. That's all. It is not about, I want to see a Nigeria where that can generate 30, 40, 50 megawatts of electricity. We can't be in a country where, giant of Africa, for years we cannot generate more than 4,000 megawatts of electricity. Number 2 country in Africa, South Africa, with 60 million people, is generating 54,000.
Yeah, great point. But to my second question, I mean, you say that your chances with the Labour Party. The Labour Party is a center-left party. Does that align with your political ideology?
Completely, because I thought that I want to remove Nigeria from consumption to production. This is a country that cannot feed itself with 926,000 square kilometers of land. It cannot feed itself. It cannot happen. I went around the entire country. When you fly anywhere in the world, as you're landing, what you see is farmland. What you see in Nigeria is bare land.
Bare land.
Nothing. I was in Taraba. I was in Taraba. You get the Mambila Hills, where you can produce all the flowers.
You also have
in
Taraba.
You can produce coffee. You can produce tea.
Okay. And let me bring up something Governor Wike also said. He said he questioned your loyalty and integrity not because of what happened when you were in office or not. He said you were given the vice presidential ticket of the PDP. You traversed the nation length and breadth to woo delegates for the PDP's ticket. At what point did you realize that the PDP was no longer the viable option? And for the Labour Party currently has no elected office position across the 36 states or in the Federal Capital Territory. How do you expect to actually win with no structure? It is regarded as not a dominant party in the country.
That shows actually somebody that means well, somebody that wants to create, somebody that wants to build. For me to not leave that it's like leaving that massive, impressive palace to a hut. That shows somebody who is determined to create. I'd rather be in a hut.
With no chances?
In peace, and build the future. I'm a creator. I've created wealth. I believe in building. When I went to Africa, I never won anything. I started there. That's why I'm telling people, come, let's stay in this hut, peaceful, organized, and build the future. I'm a creator.
APGA could not be that hot.
I create a future.
Yes. Yeah.
The reason why I talked about labor, when you talk about production, it revolves around creating jobs. It goes around labor. It brings around meaning, trade, everything. That's where I'm going to. And that's what I want to do.
Speaking of labor, the NLC, the Nigeria Labour Congress, and other workers across Nigeria, there's this, war over minimum wage for so long. They finally got to the 30,000 minimum wage. If you win, if you become president under the Labour Party, the minimum wage as it is right now, would that be a major priority of yours? What would be a living wage if you were to come up with a living wage, for example?
Let me tell you. First is that the minimum wage today.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your Kuda man. It's a very easy way to open your bank. Here we go. Step 1, go and buy your phone. Step 2, download the Kuda app.
Needs to increase. But let me tell you the first we need to increase. It is low because the productivity is low. So the first thing I'll do, I said it before, is to remove sharing formula and add in it production formula. Then we have to have minimum production. And then we'll talk about minimum wage. Because You cannot, a country of 200 million people, our total export, let me even, today, 80% of our foreign exchange income comes from one product, oil. The value of that, of our export today in oil, cannot even pay for our imports of the same oil. So we don't earn anything from oil today.
You say you're not desperate to be the president
No.
of Nigeria, but you're desperate to change things. You need a vehicle, which is the platform.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
That's what I'm
so
saying.
you landed at the Labour Party. But before the Labour Party, there were rumors and there were news of, in fact, the NNPP came out and said they offered you the vice presidential ticket. That's a heartbeat away from the presidency. We also have it on good authority, sir, that you were in conversation with the Social Democratic Party to join their party, but you reneged on that agreement on Wednesday night, much to their disappointment. Why was this?
Thank you very much. Let me tell you, I discussed with several parties. This is a simple thing. I didn't discuss anything with NPP. Let me put it on record and on notes. They never offered me anything, and I had no discussion with them. I had the leaders and nice people, they're my friends, but no discussion on issue of leadership. There's other several parties that I discussed with. But I look at the issues where the problem, and they in court, and they rancor, and they this, what do they stand for, who are the characters there, and everything, which is normal. So that you can say, where do I align myself with my aspiration and what I want for the benefit of Nigeria? Right. And I haven't looked at all of them. It's not as if, oh, there's anyone would say, okay, well, listen, we have finished discussions with him, and he went ahead and joined us, paid, did this, run around like say, then claim that run around the country, trying to tell people the need to change Nigeria.
So why exactly did your talks with the SDP, why did it fall through first off? Because that seems to be the case. Yes.
It's not just them.
Okay.
I had about 2-3 parties that I talked to. And I looked at it, we have a team. We looked at it. Where is the problem here? Some of them are in court. Some of them are leadership quarrels. Some of them, it's like you can't walk in where there's already an issue. You have to go, it's like...
So there are no issues within the
It's like a marriage.
Is that what you're saying?
You can't knowingly go in where there's a current situation, there's quarrel, there's this, and you go there and say, oh, well, listen, I'm going to...
What were the issues within the SDP,
No,
particularly
it's
that
it's
you had umbrage
It's not
with?
me, but anybody who wants can go and investigate and see. Well, like I said, some of them are in court, some are leadership issues. Some of them,
Is it right to say you went the easy way out? You decided to take the easy way out because you left the PDP, which seems to be a bigger platform, which you were a vice presidential candidate in 2019.
I said I left the big house
Yes.
to go and build.
Because of the issues within political parties. You also did not speak with PDP.
For me, I said the process through which you come into office is far more fundamental for me.
Okay.
And what you do on your way is important than what you do when you're in office.
Let me ask
So
you.
if I reach a point where I cannot be able to do certain things, I quietly leave.
Now,
And I have every right, because it's an association. It's an association. Even in marriage, it gets to a stage where you think the demand of your husband or your wife is too much, and you say, well, listen, I cannot continue. If I go back home now, my wife says, I want you to buy me a jet.
right,
What do you think I'll do?
Before we let you go, we had the DG of your campaign organization, Dr. Doyon Kukwe here, and he made a very strong point that you would not settle for a VP if it came to that? Of course, there have been threats. Even Ohanes and Ndibo have said no Southeast presidential aspirant should settle for VP. Would you settle for VP if it came to that?
Where I'm now, you see, I'm in Labour already, so, so if I'm in Labour,
Are you the sole candidate in the Labour Party?
I don't even know. So
Okay.
when they call us, I could be. If I win, will I be VP? What is important for me is that I want to be part. I want to be able. I'm a facilitator of the youth taking back their country. I want to see a better future for my children. I want them to be proud to say they're Nigerian and carry Nigerian passport. If the case be, with the youth today don't feel the energy. I've been to all over the world. I've met people in schools who are proud to say, I'm a Brazilian, I'm a Jamaican, I'm this. Nigerians don't do that because the system, the country does not care for its young people, do not invest in them. Look at university enrollment. Do you know that university enrollment here, it's just tertiary enrollment is only 9%. Not up to quarter of global average. Yet, of course, it's closed down now. Nobody cares about them.
Okay,
They struggle to
very
go through.
quickly, and I need it to be as brief as possible so that we can get, it's a lot of conversation when it comes to you. In the general election, should you become the sole candidate of the Labour Party, which you say at this point you don't know if you are, the Southeast generally should produce your block vote because you come from the Southeast. At the moment, there's a problem of security. There's also the threat of boycotting the elections. How do you intend to convince them to be a part of the process? Also, for those who say you seem to be avoiding the problems within political parties in Nigeria because of the lack of internet democracy or whatever you say, how then do you intend to manage the problem of a country such as Nigeria? What do you say to them?
They only have to look at how I managed Anambra State. Anybody who can manage Anambra State, that can actually manage Nigeria. It's one of those difficult states you can manage. And for 8 years, Anambra under me was at peace. It's just a question of first, patience, listen to other views, tolerate them, and everything. And be simple about it, which is not sophisticated. Governing Nigeria is actually easier than managing Anambra State. I can tell you, because you can focus on what you're going to do. In issue of security, which you mentioned, I've always said Nigeria have a security issue that is critical. It's affecting the entire country. It's affecting the development, the economy. How do you deal with it? First is that you have to look at it. There's two ways to fight security.
Right.
You can't have 100 million people living in poverty and you will not have a security problem. The more you put people out of poverty, the more you reduce the criminality. It's happened everywhere in the world. Number two is that you have to properly man the security agencies, provide them the resources that is required. And this is not something Nigeria cannot afford. You just have to do it and do it aggressively. As governor,
You can pay with cash or card.